Importing data to Power Query containing rows and columns with nulls or blanks is a common problem, and while the built-in tools for cleaning them are super handy, non-printing characters, spaces, and empty strings can throw a spanner in the works. In this video, Phil shows you 2 ways to remove blank rows and columns, including a way that automatically handles spaces, empty strings, and non-printing characters.
So you're loading your data from some data source and you end up with blank rows and blank columns. I've got a table here in Excel with exactly that setup, and let's load this into Power Query and see how we can get rid of all these blanks. The first way I'm going to look at doing this is by unpivoting and then pivoting the table. The first thing you need to do is add an index column, and then selecting that column, unpivot the other columns. Then select your attribute column and from the transform tab, pivot that column and select as the values column, value in this instance. In the advanced options, we do not want to aggregate. Click OK. And as you can see, it's done a pretty good job here of removing blank rows and columns. However, you can see in rows 3, 6 and 7 it hasn't worked, and I'll show you why in a second. But another drawback of this way of doing things is if you look at the change type step here, you can see it's Power Query's automatically assigned types to certain columns, like the date column is a date. But by unpivoting and then pivoting, these date transformations are lost, so you're going to have to redo these. Now, why has it not worked for rows 3, 6 and 7? Well, let's just close and load this. We'll load to connection only and I'll show you why. It's because in this third row of the table, this isn't actually empty. It's got a space in there, as you can see. And in this row, we've got character 13, which is a carriage return, and character 9, which is a tab. Now, this isn't unusual. When you're importing data, you may get spaces or control characters in the data, and these are not classified as empty in Power Query. They're not null. So using the unpivot and pivot trick in this instance will not remove all those rows and columns that really you would probably consider as blank or empty. You could, of course, if you have a small number of columns, just go through and manually delete them. But if you've either got a large number of columns or you want to do this removal of blank columns and rows to a lot of tables, then there is another way, and that involves some coding. It is a bit complicated, but it will work much better than these 2 approaches. So let's have a look at that. Now with this code, I'm going to remove blank rows and then modify the code that the Power Query editor creates. So let's remove the blank rows. So let's look at how this step is actually working. It's using table.selectRows. What it's saying is select the rows from the table in the changed type step. Select any row that is not empty once you've removed empty strings and nulls. And it does this by using the list.isEmpty, list.remove matching items, and the record.fieldValues functions. Let's look at these in turn. Record.fieldValues, that's returning the entire row, and this is indicated by the underscore, which is shorthand for the current item, and in this context the current item is the row as selected by table.selectRows. Record.fieldValues returns a list, and this is then passed into list.remove matching items. And what is it removing? It's removing any null strings or empty strings and any null values. The list that results from this is checked to see if the list is empty. If the list is not empty, then table.selectRows selects it. Now, if you know that you have special characters that you want to remove or account for in a row, like a space or a tab character or a carriage return, then yes, you could include those in the list that's passed into list.remove matching items, but you'd need to know all of those values beforehand. A better way to approach this is to use the text functions text.trim, which removes any white space, any spaces on the left and right of a string, and text.clean, which removes any non-printing characters like carriage returns, tabs, and other things like that. So how do you implement that? Well, first off, I'm going to use the list.transform function. I'm going to take the list created by list.remove matching items, and that will contain either text from normal rows like the dates or the locations, etc., or it will contain text values like spaces or carriage returns or tabs, that kind of thing. List.transform, and with so many parentheses I like to add them in as I'm going, so I'm going to put the closing parenthesis in there for the list.transform function. And how do I want to transform that list? Well, for each item in the list, I want to use text.clean and text.trim on the current item in that list, which is the current piece of text from that list, from that row. These text functions will only work on text values, so if I try it on something like a date, it will throw an error. So I need to put in a try otherwise, so that any errors that are generated don't actually cause the code to fail. So what it's saying is try to clean and trim the text. If that causes an error, then just leave the current item in the list unmodified. With that text written, as you can see, nothing has happened. So what's going on? Well, let's think about this. We're saying here's a row. If that row contains any spaces or any non-printing characters, then remove them. Well, what does it leave you with when it removes them? It leaves you with an empty string. It doesn't leave you with a null. So the list.isEmpty function doesn't count the empty string as empty. Something is there. So before the row can be passed into list.isEmpty, it has to be wrapped in another list.remove matching items function. And right down at the end, put the closing parenthesis. Let's find the matching parenthesis. So list.remove matching items, and I have to specify it as a list, and it's the empty string. So with that code, all the rows that contain spaces or non-printing characters like tabs and carriage returns are now gone. So to remove columns containing spaces or non-printing characters, we're going to have to use a similar approach as used for removing rows containing those types of characters. But you'll see that in the first column init, we still have the first four rows that may or may not contain values, and they're certainly not null. So let's have a look at what those actually are. I'm going to just create a connection again for those queries. In our first row, we've got spaces. In our second row, we've got spaces. As you can see here, row 5 for Dublin is char 13 and row 6 is char 9. The way I'm going to attempt to explain this is I'm going to open the advanced editor and I'm going to create a new step called removed blank cols. And I want to return the result of the step remove blank cols. I've pasted in the code that I've already written and I know works, and I'm going to close this and then talk you through exactly what it's doing. Let's start with the first function, table.selectColumns. In order to get only the columns I want from the previous step, remove blank rows, I want to omit columns that are blank or contain characters I don't want, like spaces, carriage returns, etc. How do I know which columns to select? I'm going to use the list.select function to tell me this. How does list.select know which columns to use? Well, it's going to get that information from the table.columnNames function. Table.columnNames just returns a list of the column names from a table, and in this case the table is in the removed blank rows step. But exactly which columns do we want list.select to select? Well, we want it to select each column where the non-null count in that column is greater than 0. And how does list.non-null-count work that out? You can figure it out because we use list.transform to check each of the values in the column one by one, and we do this using the table.column function. What table.column does is passes you the entire column of values from the named column in the named table. So in this case, the table is in removed blank rows, and the column is specified by the underscore shorthand here. And remember, we're working our way through each of the columns specified from table.column names. So we're basically working our way through each column from the table in removed blank rows. And for each of those columns, we are trying to use list.transform to transform each of the values in those columns. And we're using text.clean and text.trim to get rid of spaces and non-printing characters. Now remember, if we use text.clean and text.trim to remove spaces and non-printing characters, we end up with an empty string. So if list.transform results in an empty string for this particular value in the column, then actually I want to change that to a null. That's my transformation. Else, just leave the value alone, and the whole lot is wrapped in try otherwise, because if we're trying to do text functions on non-text values, we're going to get errors. So in such cases, if an error is generated, then just give me the value unchanged. Summing that up in English, and I told you this would be complicated, if the value in the string is spaces or non-printing characters, then text.clean and text.trim are going to give me an empty string, and I don't want that, so change that empty string to a null. If the value in the list is not white space and it's not non-printing characters, then just leave it alone. List.non-null-count can now count how many values in the list are non-null, and list.select will only select those columns where the non-null count is greater than 0, and table.select columns will only select those columns, resulting in a table with all blank columns removed. Now that is a lot of code, and it took me quite some time to write it. You don't want to be doing that every time you want to do this to a table. So an easier way is, let's make a function out of it. Let's duplicate this. I'm going to call it fx remove blanks, and then in the advanced editor, to make it into a function, got your parenthesis. I'm going to pass in one parameter, which is the table we want to operate on. I'm going to call it source, and we now have our function. I don't need this first line because we're passing source in. I'm not going to do any change types, and I just need to change this here. So rather than referring to the change type step, I'm going to refer to the source that's being passed in. Click on done. We now have a function that can be called. So let's just duplicate this again, and we'll just call it function call. And I'll get rid of these steps. So I've got one step, source, which is loading a table from Excel. If I go into the advanced editor, and then I call my function fx remove blanks, close my parenthesis around that, click done, and there you have it. Okay, so we can remove blank rows and blank columns in a number of ways. Unpivot and pivot will work if you only have nulls in the columns and rows. If you have to deal with non-printing characters or spaces or empty strings, then that's not going to work. You're going to have to use some code, in which case you can manually code it if you want, or just make use of my function here.
I hope you found this tutorial useful. You can download the Excel file for this lesson from the link here. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more. And why not share it with your friends who might also find it useful. Thanks for watching.